Hello.
We are live.
We are. Welcome to Profitable Talent Live. Hope you're doing well this fine Saturday afternoon.
If you're hearing fine, if you hear fine and you're watching live, let us know in the comments. If you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments so we know that everything is working as it should. We're gonna wait a few seconds to make sure everything is working.
While you're here, oh, we've got Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Hi. Hello, CM. Who's there, CM? Give us your name. So, Alessia, I know who I'm talking to because I personally love knowing who's watching. And the funny thing is, I get to know you all by name. You know, that's my weird thing. Right. So I really hope you are well excited for today. I know it was the very last minute, but we are very sporadic, especially now. When we want to share things, we want to share our side of.
But we decided to make it a regular show. So we want to keep it sustainable, and we're gonna jump on live on weekends, probably on Saturdays. So keep an eye on your emails. We might just send you an email to jump on live with us. And agenda for today, because you need to know, we wanted to just share a little bit of our story. We did a poll yesterday on Facebook and YouTube, and we wanted to show a little bit of our story. How we went from just an idea, 2 kids playing around with things, into making an online business that is sustaining our lifestyle, which is incredible still to us. And also we want to go through the 4 things we wish we knew to actually start making some money with this thing, which are things that we didn't know at all when we started. We didn't know how hard it was to sell a membership, okay? And we're gonna tell you that and how to do it as well. We didn't know how to launch a product. What is a launch? No idea. I will tell you how to launch a product. We didn't know what an offer was. And if you don't know exactly what it is, it's going to be super crucial for you. And we didn't know how to write sales pages to actually not convince, but sort of explain to people the value of the product in written form. We're going to go through that as well.
So, sounds great.
Let
us know. Give us a thumb up. Give us. I'm already seeing. When I look in there, is because I've got my comments in there. He's got his.
Yes.
So we are both very happy. Sounds great. I love that. So we're just gonna start with the very first pointer because we want to get right to the juice.
2015. I come back home from my visual effects job, and you were almost in tears.
I think it was.
Why were you frustrated?
I think I was in tears many times. It was one of the times where, okay, so let's say I had a very stable job in a ballet company, and he had a very stable job in a visual effects company. We were both in New Zealand, and one day we just said, let's move to London. Let's see what happens. Hi, Mark. Let's see what happens, and we'll go from there. So we moved to London without really knowing what to do, because it was the place to be for both to find a job. That was the idea. So
closer to home as well.
Closer to home, so we could travel for a couple, just a couple of hours away. So Jacopo, of course, he's in the highest of his career. So was I. And I said, well, he got the job right away. Like, you did the one interview, you got a job, he was set. And I went, that's okay. I will do it too. I will absolutely do it. It was a little bit tougher for me. I did not realize how much of a elbowing and trying to get into a new system, especially even if you've already got a job, even if I had a career, a very good solid curriculum and experience, it was just the hardest thing. So I was in between jobs, auditions, trying to keep up with the ballet classes that I needed to do to keep fit. I needed to
Which costed money.
It was at least 10-15 pounds per day, to go and do a class, which was incredibly expensive. Plus, I had all the expenses for traveling back and forth from the place where we're staying. incredibly expensive for the week. Imagine a month, imagine a year, imagine with time. It's London. That's the way it is. And so not only I was trying to find jobs to, which I got, to dance, to perform and continuous auditioning and all that, but I was also trying to find a way to teach, because I had everything I learned. I said, well, instead of staying at home and wasting everything that I have in my mind, in my body, I can actually share it. So I started sending curriculums to school. I started asking people if they needed any covers. I started asking studios to rent me out spaces, and everything was impossible. Those who had the studios never let them go, and the rents of the studios were incredibly expensive. Plus, they said it's your business to do your own advertising. Schools, they said, you don't have a piece of paper, even though you have all these experience. You taught. Because when I was in the company, I was doing outreach programs, teaching kids. I was doing master classes. I was doing a lot. So I knew how to deal with people, what it needed to be done. Nothing. Everyone said no. Apart from the fact that I don't have any place, the only thing I can offer you, even if you've got much experience, is to come and be an assistant to the very young kids
for free.
Either for free or like between £7 and £10 an hour every now and then.
And this, I think, you weren't the only ballerinas in this situation in London.
Oh no, I wasn't the only ballerina. So, it's a big, as I said, when I say elbowing to get into the place and to get the job, I mean that you find thousands of people going through for the same audition, and then people just go, it's okay, it's not next. For you, next. It's incredible. So
in the meantime, I was working not a 9 to 5, it was a 9 to whenever. So I was kind of getting stressed, even though it was easy for me to find a job. It was a high paying job, so I couldn't leave it whenever I wanted. I would just come back home and find her frustrated about all of the situation.
I was crying. I still remember the moment when I pretty much started crying under the Big Bang. There was this beautiful day, and for once there was sunny in London. I started crying so much because I said, no one wants me. I can't find the job. No, like it's so hard and it's so complicated, and I've got everything.
I was biased, but I thought you were an amazing teacher, and you were amazing on stage. I was like, is it possible that nobody wanted her? It can't be true. So I had an idea. I was desperate because I couldn't.
Couldn't bear me
one day I've installed The Sims, the video game, the one where you need to lead the life of this little avatar. You make, build a house and go to sleep and whatever. I've installed it to your laptop because you needed a job. I wanted you to get busy on something. So
you need a hobby. You need a hobby. You need something to do. You cannot just keep thinking about this and how frustrated you are. You just need a hobby. Funny enough, I couldn't even bear.
See, now she's saying you are an amazing teacher. Thank you, Sarah.
You gotta thank him, and I'll tell you why. So The Sims didn't work. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was a waste of time for me, and I needed to do something. I needed to share what I wanted. So I said, I need to hire a studio. I need my thing. There is something in you, and I'm sure you felt it as well. And give me a comment and give me a thumb up if there is a moment where you have this need to share, to help, to give away, in a way, what you have inside, because otherwise you feel that it's wasted. It's wasted if you don't give it away.
I feel like I need to be useful to somebody to sort of justify me being alive.
Exactly. So Jacopo came home one day, and when he figured that The Sims weren't working, he said, you know what? Let's try something. We cannot hire the studio. It's too expensive. Also because
everything you want to do in London is expensive. So there was a no to any idea.
Because you count pennies. Even if you've got a high-paying job, which Jacopo had, you just are very careful. So any extra expenses are a big no. And also we didn't know if this thing was going to work. And he said, you know what, let's create videos online. We do something online, or and you can teach online. And I think I had this face where I looked at him and said, I don't think anyone has ever done anything like this. And I truly believe is one of the silliest ideas I've ever heard you saying, which was incredible. I said, it doesn't work. I cannot correct. I don't know how to correct people. I need to touch people. How am I ever go out of, my comfort zone? Think outside the box. All right. This is all in my head.
Okay, let's check. YouTube.com, ballet online. Oh, there are a couple of channels. What do you think?
And I said, you know what? At this point, it's scary enough. Let's do it. Even though I said, I've got nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose. So what have I got to lose? Let's do it. So we threw ourselves into doing something like this, completely out of the blue. And it was a very good way to test and see if things were going to work, because
this wasn't our idea. Like, we're not this sensible. Because I was like, okay, we need to make this a business, so we need to sell something. And I started doing a business model thing that I downloaded on the internet. It was a mess because everything I wanted to do costed money. We didn't know if the market wanted whatever we wanted to share. And a friend of us told us, guys, instead of stressing out like that, why don't you just test the waters, move the couch on the side, do a video with like whatever cameras you've got home, and see if it's got traction, if you've got followers in a few months, and if you get views, if you get comments, whatever. I'm like, you must be a genius. This is like the most genius idea I've ever heard. Let's do that. That I can do for sure. And so we did. So we spent the next 6 months building videos for who knows.
So the funny thing is, we both needed to find something that was sustainable. All right. So this thought came out of, we want to do it, but it needs to be sustainable, because we're already burnt out as it is, between him going to job to a 9 to, we have no idea when he was finishing, to my stress into going to audition, spending days auditioning, then getting jobs here and there. As much as they were beautiful, it was stressful. And I said, I need something where it cannot take everything out of our time. And also we said we wanted something that was going to stay. This is why we decided to go on YouTube, because it was we had a schedule. We decided to commit. That was one of the very first things, because when we create something, we said we want to commit, we want to give it a chance. And in order for it to give it a chance, it needs to be continuous, but it also needs to be sustainable, especially if you've got another job, because we've started, and before we actually left our jobs, it took us years. So we juggled a 9 to 5 job, 9 to 7, 9 to 10 job, to another job that was mine from 9 till midnight when I was coming home from shows, and we only had sometimes weekends. So that was very, very important for us.
But the things that we knew for sure, that we didn't want to create tangible products, because I didn't want to have anything to do with the production, the design, the shipment, the handling, the storage, and all of that. That it's going to be a full-time job, so we didn't want to do that. It had to have recurring revenue in the future.
So this is always something that you need to think about.
It's all the stuff, that design the business you want around your life, because it's going to eat up your life when it's up and running, especially if it's working. So that's the idea. That's how it all started. But the first thing we did in retrospective, like, what was the main thing we did? Like, we didn't know what we were doing at all.
So at this point, what I said, okay, if I have to create a channel, something that I can share with. I always thought about, what did I need back in the days? What did I need when I started? What was my biggest desire at that time? So I still remember when I was going and looked for video cassettes to watch videos, to actually watch people dancing. And we are very old. Or books where they talked about ballet, and there wasn't that much, or anything that was available was so expensive that I had to save a lot of money. So I said, okay, if I ever has that possibility, I would love to share something with people, with my younger self. Which is funny, because then we started building an audience. And this is something that you need to keep in mind. Not only whenever you create the very first impact online, it's okay to start with an idea. It's all right to start with something that you wanted, with something that
it's familiar to you.
It's familiar. You like it, comes easy. And then bit by bit, when people start looking at you and they tell you your story, there is something that clicks in your mind that says, maybe I am serving a different kind of audience. So not only you create free content for people that is valuable, that is good, that is quality work, because at the end of the day, what I wanted to put out was quality work, but it also gave the possibility to build an audience, even though it wasn't the audience I thought it was, and then shifting towards a different way, a different offer. Okay, I'll put it out there, because then we're gonna talk about it. So it's okay, especially when you're testing things for, let's say, free. Put out good quality content, and never be afraid. Free content. Yeah, especially if if you've decided to have a YouTube channel, or you've got followers on TikTok or Instagram. It doesn't matter, or Facebook. It doesn't matter where your platform is, but you put out content that is quality for your audience. So the very first thing that we did without really knowing is we started building an audience that loved what was
you were doing.
Offered. So,
but can I say something very important? Because now, when we started, I wasn't aware of this, but nowadays it's so common that when you want to start doing something like online, you find any course possible on the face of earth. So everybody's pushing you to create a course, a membership, but you don't have an audience yet. And they don't tell you, because it takes a long time, that if you don't have an audience, there's no way you can sell whatever product you build, even if it's incredibly useful. And also, if you don't have an audience, you don't know how to do your research, it's going to be completely useless. So in retrospect, what we did without knowing anything was building an audience first. That's why I'm saying free content, because you need to validate your ideas and then build a product that is useful to your audience once you found one.
And believe me, because it's funny, now I'm the kind of person, we are the kind of people that just press play or press go live online. And even if I have 200,000 people watching, I feel comfortable. And you see the comfortable me being in front of people, but I promise you, and I swear, I will put some videos out of when I started.
But before, no, we already gave it away.
No.
But do you think Alessia is a natural on camera? Do you think that she's just gifted, that she's comfortable on camera, or do you think she had to learn it? I want to know in the comments. Let us know.
All right, I'm gonna wait a little bit, because I know you're there. I know you're there.
Because at the beginning I said, okay, since you need to be on camera, why don't you practice?
So I started practicing at home, and this is very interesting because I started practicing at home with an iPad. All right, so I grabbed my iPad, and it was me and the cats. That's it. That's the only audience I had. The moment I pressed that red button that said record, everything that was in my mind just kind of went blank. And so I had this blank canvas moment, and I said, I don't even know how to talk about, how to do a plie. I should know how to do a plie. I can't explain how to do a plie in front of an iPad with no audience on the other side. So
it was shocking. I used to come back home and see, okay, let's show me what you've done today. And there were like 30 minutes videos of Alessia staring at the iPad, saying one word and then nothing, then maybe a couple of words, then nothing again. I was like, this is never going to work.
This is never going to work. But the funny thing is, it doesn't matter. I said, okay, Darling, my darling, you gotta bite the bullet, you gotta put it out there, and you gotta do something to see if this thing works. And if you go back to any of the videos that I've done at the very, 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 very beginning, number one, some were with the voiceover because we didn't have microphones that were available. It was super expensive, so we said, okay, voiceover will do. And even then, it was kind of hard. Number two, all the intros and outros were done with me almost covering my face. It was one of the hardest thing I actually learned to do. But not only learning to speak in front of the camera is also because when you start receiving the comments of people that say, thank you for what you've done, thank you for sharing this part of yourself, it was the most incredible feeling. But almost like I was saying to Claudia before, I knew exactly who was on the other side. I started talking to the people that even if they were leaving me a comment, I knew exactly what their name was and what their goals were. They started sharing as much as possible on their side. And so I started opening up and feeling that I had to be strong and I had to be their leader in order for them to succeed. Because if I wasn't going to be strong and I wasn't going to be confident on camera, nothing was going to help them out. So it was my duty to help them out and be that leader. And that's how the confidence build up. But you've got to start, even if you suck so much, at just putting the content out there.
You have to suck at the beginning.
You gotta suck big time.
I've got a question. Do you think social media is the only way to build an audience first, or do you think a blog would work for that too? I can tell you our experience. We've started doing blogs as well at the beginning because the guru said you need to be omnipresent. So we did the blogs as well. It's a very, very slow process, but you do get views because Google, after a few months, picks up the value of a blog if you know how to do SEO and all that kind of stuff, and start pushing it on searches. I have no idea how to do that properly, so I don't know. But yes, there are people that are crushing it with blogs. And if it's writing, it's your thing, totally. You don't have to show your face on video. It's just like nowadays, videos is like the best way to connect one-to-one also. So that's also something that I think it's a valuable skill to learn.
I still believe, I personally love, I think there is a point. Okay, I'll start again because I've got this thing in mind. I love blogs and I'm the kind of person that loves writing. I've always adored the writing. I love writing letters. I don't write emails, I write letters to my people. So I love just sitting down and sharing a little bit of myself. So there is always that part of having the best of both worlds. I still believe that there is a point where out of nowhere, there is this feeling, as I was saying before, that you want to share a little bit more. And even by just showing your face and saying hello to people, it just brings that connection even closer to the people that are on the other side of the screen. It's not just a piece of content that is written that it will definitely give you the connection, but the fact that they can see you speak, they can hear the tone of your voice. There are very different things. So whenever they are reading the piece of content that you have created, they will also remember the way you sound, and they will read it with your voice. So start with blogging, and whenever it feels right, even if it's the scariest thing you've ever done, just put a video out there to say hello to the people and say thanks that they're following you and reading whatever, all the beautiful things that you're writing. It's such a small thing, but it will mean the world to people that are out there. This is my personal opinion, and I know that it's so scary, super scary.
It's gotta be scary. I've got so many things to say, but we've got an agenda and we're gonna have some Q&A at the end. So if you've got specific questions like this, we can go deeper for sure. Just stick around until the end. Just want to make sure we cover all of the things that we want to say today. Otherwise, it's going to be like 10 hours live. And what was the next thing? So we spent...
Do you want to change?
Of course. Hey! We spent more than a year building this audience. We had about 10,000 followers on YouTube, which is, now that I'm thinking back, is amazing, but I thought it was nothing because I wanted to have millions. We got contacted by Vimeo. You know Vimeo? They said, because they acquired a company that did memberships, basically. They said, guys, your content is great. Have you ever thought about creating a membership? I was like, no, but
because hang on, we had this incredible idea that by building a YouTube channel, we would just make millions and just get paid by advertisements that Google and obviously YouTube puts out. Big mistake.
They pay you $1 per 1,000 views, depending on what kind of niche you cover. It's nothing. Unless you have at least 1 million views a month, there's nothing you can do to sustain your lifestyle. So that
went out.
Monetization of a channel is not one thing that you want to look into. It's useless. So we need to sell something. What do we do?
So Vimeo OTT came over and said, oh guys, you're so great. We just want you. Yeah, we love you, and we want you to have you on our platform, so you can actually share under a paywall a membership or the content that you've got, not only online, but you can create new content for people that will come in your ecosystem, in your membership.
We always needed some kind of a push to do something, and that email from Vimeo plus the conversation we've had was the push for us to say, maybe we do have a chance. Let's do what Vimeo thinks we can do. I think we spent the next 6 months building more and more content to put on the paywall in the membership without really knowing how hard it was to sell a membership. Because when you don't know things, you just do them anyway.
So the funny thing is, what the idea that I had of having a paid wall was, people come because they want more things, more videos, more stuff. All right. So I said, I'll create more stuff. And then remember this, I'll tell you more about not creating more stuff. But I wanted to create more stuff. So I started creating programs over programs and more programs. And I burned out. I personally burned out. I said, I don't have any more ideas. I don't know what to do anymore. So I just chucked everything that we had, that I had created in this membership. We were so tired because 9 to 5 or 9 whatever job, with all over the place, on tour, shows, things, audition, getting rejected, getting the job, getting married, and everything. Mortgage, house, and everything.
Remember, we planned a holiday in August. We were supposed to launch the membership like a few days before our departure. And we managed to wrap everything up and launch it. I will explain how launching meant to us. And then we traveled to Rome.
I cried.
On the first day in Rome, when we were supposed to relax, we started having like semi-panic attacks. You completely crumbled.
I completely crumbled in the middle of Rome, and it was so hot. It was so hot, and my feet hurt, and it's so bad. Anyways, I'll talk more about this launch that we did before. But one thing we had no idea, well, at least my idea of membership was that we put it out there and people will just come and will just buy it. Or whenever I mention it, and this is exactly what I did, I mentioned it in the video and we left and we said, I'm sure things will be all right.
They were going to jump on it.
They were going to
buy more stuff in exchange for money, right? That didn't even sound right.
What we didn't know is people are scared of memberships. All right. So the fact that there is a name called membership, and the fact that even if they come from a free channel, free content, and they know you, they get to know you, and then you offer something to them that is recurring payment, I've put together more content, people freak out because they said, maybe it's not for me, maybe it is, I'm not quite sure, and they take forever to understand if the path that you will take them on is exactly what they need or not. So for us, having a membership right there and there, it was the worst thing we ever done, because even if people wanted to know more about you and they wanted to get more content from me, they freaked out and they just said, I'm not going to commit for such a long time.
It's easier to sell a $300, $500 product, which is a one-off, than a $24.99 membership forever. Because when you sign up to a membership, you think you're gonna commit long-term. And psychologically, it's so much more difficult. And so instead of, if you want to create a membership, we highly recommend not to sell the membership as a front-end product, because it's scary for people to jump into something, especially if they don't know you well, especially if you don't have a huge audience where you warm them up and people really are convinced that they want to commit to you. Like in our case, it was hard for us, but it's even harder if you don't have an audience. What we realized after years of trial and error is that you want to have an introductory product as a front-end offer that it's low to mid priced, so that people say, great, I can understand the value of this $27, $47 product.
It starts and it finishes.
It starts and it finishes. It's got a time window. I know the result that is going to give me. It's a one-off. It's a no-brainer. I'm going to jump on it. That's like what I call it, a paid trial, a paid sample, right? This product is not going to be the product that's going to fix all of the problems in their life. It's the product that's going to give them a taste, give them some results in advance, but they become a client of yours. And that is the best way to then onboard them via email on the idea of getting continuous support in a membership. So that is the best way we found so far. So keep that in mind if you want to do a membership. That's how you do it.
It's a very nice, it's a very nice way to invite people into, I call it into your ecosystem, just because it is a way they become part of your world. So it's not so much of a commitment. They take their time to go through the small course that you've put together. They learn more about you. They learn how you teach them, what path you're going to take with them. And as Jacopo was saying, the fact that then you can offer that continuous support, obviously the membership comes in the best way possible, because you know that then you can take them by the hand, you can give them a longer path, you can add value even more, and that makes sense. But with the membership at the beginning, remember, people will be scared to, even if they can cancel at any time. It's just a way they see that it's going to be continuous, but I still don't know if I like it. If I don't know if I like you, who knows? So a very small commitment, also because that very small commitment of 27, 47, like Jacopo was saying, it's a very nice way to filter out anyone that is serious and not serious. The freebie seekers that will always come into your list that sometimes complain because they receive free stuff. We get that.
Yeah.
We get that. So the moment that they pay, even if it is a small amount, they commit, and you are sure that they will do the job and they will do the work that you've actually told them, that you tell them to do throughout that small path. It's a very, I don't know why they do that, but the more
but not you. Even if you're looking at watching free content, please implement, because just watching is not going to produce any results. Just saying it.
Just saying it out loud.
But I really want to, so let's suppose you have a product, you built it, it's there, it's great. We didn't know how to launch a product at all. We didn't know how to launch a product at all. And like we were mentioning before, we spent months building it. And then one day in one of the videos, we just mentioned the fact that we had it available for everybody. And that was the launch.
Let us know in the comments. Do you guys have already a product? Have you tried to do a launch? So far, so good. What stage are you? Is there something that freaks you out about launching? let us know in the comments. We'll keep on going, but I'll keep an eye. So whenever I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading the comments. Nothing else. Don't worry.
Speaking of launching, like, do we even know what launching means? Because I didn't know, but I come from cinema, so I knew how people were launching films. So now there is the new Indiana Jones coming out, and what do you see? If you remember, maybe a few months ago, you've seen some teasers, maybe with Harrison Ford, maybe older, maybe younger, and you started telling everybody about it. Then you see articles. Then closest to the launch, to the premiere, you see trailers coming out, usually 3 or 4, all spaced out, in order to build the hype around what? Around the big event, which is the premiere of a film. Why do they do that? Because they want to spread the word that everybody at that specific date should go running towards the theaters and watch the movie. And it shouldn't be any different if we want to create buzz around something that we suddenly make available. So this is what we realized. In order to sell a product, you've got to launch it. And then if you're not familiar with Jeff Walker launch, there are a million ways of launching a product. But this is what we've done so far. We're not going to just tell you what we wrote in a book. We're going to tell you what we have done and actually worked really, 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 really well. For example, for the membership launches, what do we do?
Okay, membership launches, as I was mentioning before, there is always a way for people to come in and commit. Even though, because we do launches and we open the membership only once a year publicly, we open the membership only once a year to everyone around the world. Obviously, there has to be a hype. So I start creating videos that people will like, they will find very valuable, always related to what you do, and you know that people need and want. And then I invite them to sign up for a free event. It can be a free workshop. I usually like to do a 1 or a 2 day workshop. Now I've started doing one days because people sometimes get lost or they can't commit for more. It's too overwhelming. So a one day, an hour and a half workshop where we learn the very basics of ballet. So I love doing that. The only thing that they need to do is to reserve the spot. That is a very small commitment. Is not because it's free. The only commitment that they're going to do is to give me their email address. What I do in the email address, I send them to a private community because I want people to understand the value of being in a membership that is not just about content. It's about creating a community, being part of a community that is supported, because I don't allow bad apples in my communities. I want people that support each other. And I continue inviting people. I create content every week until we get to the event, and I keep inviting people to the free event. Come into the free event.
So at this point, we're not selling anything.
We're
just sending people to the event because we want them to register their interest. It's the first time they're going to say, I'm interested. It's the first time they raise their hands, which is an engagement that you need for people to say yes at any point.
And also because the reason why I like to do these free events and these free workshops is because I want people to see me live and to see me that I am the person that they're talking to. Like every time I go live, I'm no different from when I'm in the video. I want them to get to know me and I want them to feel good. I want them to enjoy that time. I want it to be a real event. Right? Because they need to test things. I need the very, especially when it's in membership, I love them to test it as the real deal, because I do lives in my membership and I want them to test it as the real deal. So I want that interaction. I want people to ask me questions. I want to see them. I want them to feel everything that needs to be felt in that in that live event.
And also, I think because we researched our ideal client, we know that they don't believe they can do ballet. They don't believe they're flexible enough, they're young enough, they're fit enough. So in the event, we need to prove them, Alessia needs to prove them that they can do it too. So it's crucial. Without the event, they wouldn't believe in themselves. And the event is there to give them something for free, for sure, but also to reassure them that that was exactly what they needed to fulfill their childhood dream, right? So we spend a month registering people. We usually have, with our content, we usually have more than 1,000 registered every time we do an event. So instead of having sporadic people popping in and out a page, we have 1,000+ people registering for the same event. And the day of the live, we've got hundreds of people watching the same live all together, feeling like they're special because they are, because they registered, because they committed. And that's when they're the highest, because they get to experience what they wanted in the first place. And if they like what they've experienced, your job, Alessia's job, is to say, if you enjoyed this, it doesn't have to stop. The next thing that I can offer you is this, and it costs this much. The choice is yours. And usually we've got lots of people taking up on the offer because it makes sense.
And it also they have about, I give them a time frame. What I like that people take action. And most of the time, in order for them to give them action, to give them that action, that action takers, I give them about a week. So if they don't take on my offer for in about a week, then that's it. They've lost the boat.
We tried a week, we tried a month, we tried 15 days. Between 7 and 10 days is a sweet spot. If you stretch that, you're only going to get the same amount of signups, just stretched in time frame. I don't know why. Ask psychologists. I have no idea. So less than 7 days, I don't know. It's a bit too tight. 7 to 10 days is a sweet spot. And we get a ton of people signing up because there is urgency, and you know that people want to stay in a safe, comfortable zone. They don't want to commit to anything because safety, better be safe. I don't want to risk anything. You give them a deadline, they finally take action, even for things that they want and they need it. So that's also crucial.
There is always something. It doesn't matter if it's a membership or if it's a course. We've noticed that people are more keen to take action if they have a time frame.
Oh yeah.
I have programs that they're out there, they're available. And their procrastination mind will just say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it another time, I'll do it another day. Even if you remind them every single time with emails to say, hey, remember, you've got this, you looked at this, you've done the quiz, it was the perfect thing for you, it's still available. They're not going to take you on, they're not going to take on that offer. There is absolutely no chance.
All the time in the world. Like I always say, I was born in Florence and I have never visited the Uffizi Gallery. And every time I say it, I got glances like, what? I came from Japan to watch the Uffizi Gallery. I know, because you had stakes. I didn't. It was always available for me. And I said, one day when there's no queue, which is never but never, I'm going to visit. And I'm still ashamed of it. We are planning the trip to Florence as we speak, so I can redeem myself. But this is the importance of urgency. You need to give them a time frame, otherwise people will not take action. But also, this brings me to the second point, is the third point. Take action for what? Like, you need to make them an offer, right? Well, we didn't even know what an offer was. Hang on. This is,
I like this camera.
The change of plan. So once you are ready to offer something to your ideal client, do you even know what an offer is? Because we didn't know what an offer was. So what did we do when we launched the membership?
As I was saying before, it's very interesting because the very first thing that you do is give people more stuff. All right, so you give them more videos, you give them more hours to watch, you give them more of everything because you want to cover them in all the knowledge that you have. and then they freak out and they leave it halfway. And also, you don't know what you're offering, because you're offering the splits and flexibility, you're offering the swan lake thing, and then you're offering more ballet classes because you've got hours and hours and hours of dancing. And people just say, I don't want much more hours of dancing. I really want to understand ballet. I want to fulfill that childhood dream. You're the ballerina. You should know how to take on that path. I don't understand your offer. I don't understand what you have in there. And there, my question was about, how can you not understand there is more of the good thing I do?
Because you, as an expert, you take all of the things that really make you for granted. You think that knowledge is the only thing that people need, but that's not that. Knowledge is fully available online anywhere. Just you can Google anything and it'll give you an answer. Maybe you need to find a few different articles to find the right one, but you'll find it. You took for granted the fact that you were disciplined, that you knew how to put together a structured path for yourself. You've got discipline because you've put blood, sweat, and tears in your career. So
Correct.
all of that regimented path of learning, that's what they need, not the content. Well, of course, they will need a little bit of content, but they will need the structure, all the things that you're not even thinking about.
Or the method.
People do not want more stuff. They already have plenty of stuff. Actually, we realized years later that because our membership was so full of stuff, they left because they felt overwhelmed. So we had to mentally flip everything that we had in our mind and said, okay, but what is the added value then? But the added value is that people want to be held accountable for a specific goal, and it should be attainable in a specific time frame, or at least keeping track of the progress that you're having, because progress is what makes you happy, what makes you keep going. So your offer should not be sign up for this membership or product and we'll give you more stuff, but it should be a bit more what we decided to do with our beginners ballet course, for example. We said 4 weeks, I'll teach you ballet, the foundation of ballet. You can start doing your first choreography, learning your first steps in the comfort of your home as a beginner adult. And that makes perfect sense for somebody that doesn't want to or cannot step into a ballet class, in-person ballet class, doesn't want to feel judged because they don't see themselves in a mirror very nicely. They want to just, keep it as a hobby. It's a $27 product, and we sold so many of those because it made sense. And we had that product in the membership since the beginning. It was just not put together properly. But once you put together properly and we labeled it differently, learn the foundation of ballet in 4 weeks in the comfort of your home, people jumped on it because the offer made sense. And you cannot underestimate the power of crafting a good offer, which we believe is the foundation of any business. So we even created an 8 weeks program to teach coaches and online trainers on how to craft their own irresistible offers, because this is the starting point for any successful business. And if you go in our website, profitabletalent.com, there is a button that says work with us. You'll see all of the details, but this video is not for that. Just wanted to mention it because this is how important an offer is to us.
And also because we take that offer for granted. Every time Jacopo has put a fantastic framework down to get down, because I always call him the mind mapper. He knows exactly how to put down a roadmap from zero to success. And whenever I feel completely lost, I go and say, can you give me the framework? Because I have no idea what I'm doing. So he knows exactly, he knew exactly what was needed to create an offer. And also the fact that whenever we are creating an offer for people, we never think that the products that we put together are good enough. We never think, never. We never think that it can be helpful. We take a lot of our knowledge for granted. We take our method for granted because, believe it or not, everyone has got a method because it's based on your experience, your way of learning, the way your world experience, everything that you've gone through in life, and you have you have things ingrained in the way you do stuff. You teach, you create, you put together a dance class or a yoga class, or you coach coaches. That isn't unique to you because that's the way you do things, and that's the way you will ever offer it to people. So an offer is not just about what there is in the product. There is a whole world based on
it's not at all what's
offer
in the product, like this amount of videos, this amount of tools, this amount of documents. It's more like, with this method, what Alessia just mentioned, that you created because of your experience and knowledge, you can help one class of people achieve a specific result in a specific time frame. And that's an offer. That's a much more valuable offer than more stuff. Nobody wants to go through another course. They want a problem to be fixed, a result to be achieved. So if you understand anything from this video today, this will be it. So if in the Q&A, if you've got questions, I'm super passionate about this stuff, so feel free to jump on it. But we've got another point.
Last pointer. Shall I check? You gotta tell me this.
Hello. Okay, let's suppose you've got your program, you know how to launch and everything, but yeah, your offer is great. What we didn't know was how to write sales pages, because at some point people will need to be informed about what they're giving money for again. What they are constantly thinking, what's in it for me? And when you're in business, when you are trying to sell something, the question that your ideal client is constantly asking is, what's in it for me? They don't care about you. They don't care about how many years of experience, of knowledge, of certifications you have. They don't care. They care about their problems because they want that taken away. They want that to go away.
Fixed.
And they're constantly saying, okay, if I give you money, what's in it for me? So the sales page should not just explain what's inside. I remember our first sales page wasn't even a sales page. It was like a list, a shopping list of things that were inside the product. So you've got 10 classes, 100 plus hours of trainings, which sounded exhausting. Ab works and stretching and legs. And like, how am I going to go through all of that? This is actually discouraging. So again, because people don't want to go through any of that. So how do we write a sales page that makes sense? So in my opinion, what we've experienced, people, we believe, buy what they want, and everybody loves to buy, but they don't want to be sold to. So don't sell like, if you've got an idea of what a salesy salesperson sounds and feels like, don't do that. But you need to be able to inform your reader of what value you bring to the table. And you need to speak to mainly two things: emotions and logic. Mainly. There are many other things, but mainly that. So in the emotion realm, you want to address the problem and speak about the problem, not from your point of view, the point of view of the teacher, but the point of view of your ideal client. You should know what they go through every day, and you should speak freely about it. For example, in the Beginner's Ballet course page, we start with...
Is ballet for adults?
I think, yeah, let me see if I can... ballet has always been your childhood dream, but you feel you don't have what it takes. That's the first headline of the whole thing. We don't speak about the course. It's the first thing they read. But what do we do there? We want to trigger the problem that they're having right there. We want to make them feel understood. And then from talking from the problem that they're having, we bridge it with the solution, which is the course, which is not a list of videos and things. It's a result that we are selling. And then, of course, in the page, you should also speak to the logic, to the actual details. Like they need to know if it's live, how they're going to log in, how many videos are in there, how many hours a week they need to dedicate, all of the things that, because they actually at some point will have to use it. So mention the technical stuff, but be careful, because that is not the only thing you should mention in the sales page. It's mainly talking to their emotion. And if you've
And that's another, hang on, before you get to that, another thing that I would highly recommend not to do until later on in the page, because they need to know about you as well, is to sneak in the fact that I will take you there because I have done everything right, because I am your leader and I'm your savior. They don't want to hear that. They don't care about you.
Oh, no.
People care, going back there, people care about themselves. And there is a very nice way to say it and to do it. And there is a very nice framework that my lovely husband gave me as a present, because it was a present that I use it every single time.
It's something we developed along the years. And when I had to do it for our coaching program, I had to really sit down and put it into a framework. And it's pretty much all of the sections of a sales page that really speaks to the ideal client's desires and frustrations, without sounding pushy, but sounding like more like you, more like a human. So we decided to just give it away for free, and you can download it from our website. It's in the description box below. There is a link in there if you want to download it. And it's great. We use it every time we need to write a new sales page. So grab it.
Use it. Is a lifesaver, especially because it's gonna get you out of that writer's block about the fact that you don't know where to start. What am I gonna talk about? What is my audience? What is my ideal client thinking? There is everything right in there that will help you out to get rid of that writer's block.
We also send you an email every day to help you with each section. And if you are smart enough, you see the email marketing that I'm doing to help you out as well. So you can learn from that as well. So it's like a mini email course for you on copywriting and sounding like you when it comes to selling your own stuff to the people you want to help.
So far, so good, guys. Yeah, I know we've been talking a lot. We have a couple of questions as well that I've noticed before.
Yes. Well, first of all, there's Mark that said, your thoughts on cohorts with launch and evergreen, with a launch versus evergreen. This is a great question, because we are testing exactly that right now. So the things with cohorts need to start on a specific day and they end on a specific day. So at the moment, we only tried launching and with an event, and it was brilliant because, again, like we explained before, we can get a massive amount of people in one single event and then onboard the candidates into the cohort. What's the problem? That you've got to launch again the next time you want to do a cohort. So it's not exactly sustainable if you want to do it regularly. That's why we are testing evergreen. And by that, there is no perfect way of doing it. I think they're both valid ways. If you've got a way of, again, having an introductory product or a free product to get people into your ecosystem and then nurture them towards your values, your method, and then invite them to apply for the next cohort, whenever that's going to be, that's also a valid option if you don't want to launch every 2 months. It's going to burn you out and hate your life. So that's totally something that I would do in conjunction. So I would still keep the event for the big event and then figure out an evergreen way of still onboarding people for the next cohort, which is what we're doing right now.
We came up with an idea because I had about 1 million courses, for example. And the fact of being an evergreen and then introduce them to the world that we've got in the membership, or if it's about we put together a quiz that would direct them exactly where they needed to go for the right program, so that it's very well thought. It's fun for them, because in my opinion, a quiz needs to be fun, it needs to be entertaining, and as well as giving you really good pointers of what the person needs to work on, for example. It's much value. And so we direct them to the program, and then based on if they purchase one of the programs, so they're already committing to one of the programs, then after that we invite them specifically. It's a special invite, just because we know they have committed into the membership. Otherwise, nothing else happens in the world. So this is the way we do it, because we want to also to alleviate the amount of customer service for people, because we had a lot of people asking, how do I do this? How do I get it in? Or what program is the right one for me? So we made it in order for them to be a self-assessment, pretty much.
Yes.
So there is different ways. And what we have noticed is there is no right and wrong. It depends what works with your audience. What does your audience like? I think we tested the evergreens and the funnels or the event about 1 million times until we found something that works for us. So it doesn't mean that if I say we do an event, we do the video, we do the free event, we've got thousands of people in the event, and then they have the community, and then after that they sign up. It might not work for you.
Yeah, but test it.
So
test what works for others. In this case, what worked for us. But tweak it based on what kind of response you get. Always ask for feedback. We have surveys every time people do something, because we need to know and adapt. And that's your job too. You've got to do the best experience for your ideal client, user, watcher, follower, whatever you want to call it.
Does it make sense?
Hopefully it makes sense.
Good. I know it's not a question, but it's Sarah saying, I'm struggling with audience building.
Yes.
Who doesn't? This is something that we've learned. You either have time or lots of money to throw in a bin to understand. And we didn't have lots of money to throw in a bin, but we had time to understand and see what people were looking for, and especially the words and workouts and content that people were attracted to. So I know it seems like one of the biggest struggle to build an audience, but it's about serving the people that you have in front more and listening to what they say, and translating their words into what you know, and say, oh, okay, they meant this. I'm going to offer them exactly this in my own way.
I think sometimes also for people that struggle with audience building, it might be that you haven't committed long enough. I don't know exactly your situation, Sarah, but what do you do with your social media efforts? Are you consistent? Do you publish regularly, or do you publish every now and then you lose motivation, then you don't publish for a few months, and then when you publish something that you want to promote, and therefore you empty the goodwill of the audience that you built? So I don't know what's happening there, but there's something I can suggest is, if you are struggling doing YouTube videos, for example, totally understandable, it's hard. Maybe do it in a way that suits you. For example, we're doing this live thing, which it's fun for us. But what's going to happen is once we're done with this, I'm going to send this all to our editors, along with specific intros that I'm going to be doing to pre-frame a specific slice of this live, so that instead of one video of like more than 1 hour long, I can have 4 or 5 videos that are maybe less than 10 minutes that speak about one thing. So for me, I'm saving a ton of time. I'm still having fun while doing it, and I'm constant. If long form video is too much for you, do one little thing every day. Can you pick up your phone and give a message for 1 minute to your audience on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Reels, whatever? That's way better than doing nothing. But also don't promote. You want to share your values, you want to share your method, you want to share your results, you want to share a little bit of your program, your promotions, but make them part of your world, but especially send them to your ecosystem, to your website. Give them, again, an additional resource in exchange for their emails so that you can keep in touch with them, which is one of the most important part of audience building, because when YouTube and Instagram and all social media platforms tell you the number of followers you have, it's not your followers, it's their followers. And when you want to reach them all, there is no way, because the social media platform decides who to send people to watch and when. So your email list is crucial for your business. So never forget that.
3 things I wanted to add. Number 1, we didn't have editors until last year.
Yeah.
We did everything by ourselves. The people that you see, then we started delegating because we could actually, that's something that I absolutely adore. Having a business, you guys, is not just about helping people, but it's also that it gives me the possibility to give jobs to people that are out there, okay? Because everyone that comes around our system and then whatever we do, we pay them. And that, for me, is given the possibility to share this and to give them a job and to give them to give more
for free as well.
It's just incredible. Number 2, choose a platform that you like, because every time that you share the content, you need to love it. You need. It needs to come natural. It needs to be part of what you do regular. Number 3, I forgot, but it will come to mind. But it was one of the things that I wanted to say. Make sure that whenever you're sharing, choose a platform that makes you happy, because I know, especially me.
We do know.
Especially me, I hate being stuck to my phone, and I needed to create content on a platform that I liked, that I had I could express myself. I think that was the most important the most important part. And number 3, I've noticed lately that just because you have started with an idea in mind of what your channel, your platform, your content is, doesn't mean that it has to stay the exact same way that it was ages ago. Any business, any channel, any platform that you use for your content, you are allowed to tweak and change it and to evolve and speak in a different way than it was 7 years ago, for example. So I think it is important to understand that, 1, you're not going to look at an audience in the same way as you started. You are going to mold yourself and the audience with your life. Because if a business or a channel stays stuck in exactly where it is, it will die. All right. So lately I've noticed that I needed to take a break. I needed to understand and to reassess where I was going. And I said, I'm not that person I was 7 years ago. I'm 38 and I have changed quite a lot. My body has changed, the way I think has changed, priorities have changed. So I do believe that the channel that I am creating, even if it is got the same name, needs to evolve with me, and it needs to be part of me. So remember this: whenever you're sharing your content, try to find what it is in you, how you want to share it, and the path that you want to take. Make people try what you do. Share your I'm not even saying share your life, because it's not about sharing your life. It's about sharing what you love, and people will follow you for this. So don't be afraid to lose people to then gain new one, because that's part of life. That's part of who we are, and that's part of where a business or a channel and content is going to go towards. we're not, I always say we're not sedentary creatures, but we're not just sedentary creatures in what we do in life as moving and dancing and going to the gym and going for a run. We're not sedentary people in nature. We evolve, we grow, we change, we then wilt later on. So
if you don't have any questions, we're going to love you and leave you. It's been great, as usual. If you want different things, more topics to be covered,
let us know.
Let us know. You
Write
know
in the comment.
You can poke us anywhere in the social media universes. And
remember to download. Remember, guys, to download the sales copy framework. Super helpful. Even if you want to have a read, even if you want to
use it. Use it for your business. It's going to make you money and impact more people in your life. That's what you need.
Absolutely. We love you guys. Thank you for sharing your time.
Until next time.